You turn on a tap. Clean, cold, safe water flows instantly. You don't think about it. You don't have to. But for almost the entire history of your species, 300,000 years, that tap did not exist. No filtration, no pipes, no treatment plants, no guarantee, just whatever was available. And whatever was available was often trying to kill you. Think about what water actually was before we controlled it. A river shared with decaying animal carcasses upstream. A watering hole visited by predators at night. A puddle collecting parasites in the dirt. A lake with invisible bacteria multiplying beneath the surface. And yet, your ancestors drank every single day, because not drinking meant death within 3 days. So the question isn't just what they drank. The question is, how did they survive what they drank? Dysentery, cholera, typhoid, giardia. These are not modern diseases. These are ancient killers, older than civilization itself. They have been found in the calcified dental plaque of Neanderthals, in the gut contents of 5,300-year-old Otzi the Iceman, in the intestinal remains of Roman soldiers buried 2,000 years ago. The water has always been dangerous. The danger was never new. And yet humanity didn't collapse. Populations grew. Civilizations rose. Children were born and, somehow, are survived. Which means one of two things must be true. Either ancient humans found ways to avoid the danger they couldn't see, or the human body was built with a hidden tolerance for contamination that we have slowly, quietly, unknowingly dismantled. Both are true, and the answer to how changes everything about how you see the glass of water sitting beside you right now. The first clue comes from fermentation. Long before anyone understood microbiology, ancient humans stumbled onto one of the most powerful water safety technologies in history, completely by accident. Fermented drinks kill bacteria, not because anyone planned it, but because the acidic byproducts of fermentation, alcohol, lactic acid, create an environment where pathogens cannot survive. Every ancient civilization independently discovered this. The Sumerians documented beer production in 3400 BCE. Egyptian workers building the pyramids received a daily ration of 4 to 5 liters of beer, and not as a luxury, but as their primary safe liquid. Roman legions carried posca, vinegar dissolved in water, on every campaign. Chinese records dating to 2700 BCE document the boiling of water and the drinking of tea, long before the concept of germs existed. These were not choices made with scientific understanding. They were choices made with pattern recognition. The people who drank from the river got sick. The people who drank the fermented broth didn't. The knowledge passed down not as theory, but as survival instinct embedded in culture. Then comes the second layer, something even stranger. The human gut. Microbiologist Maria Gloria Dominguez Bello's research across indigenous Amazon communities, populations with minimal exposure to modern sanitation, found gut microbiome diversity 2 to 3 times greater than populations in industrialized nations. More bacterial species, more resilience, more natural resistance to contamination. Ancient humans didn't just avoid dangerous water through behavior. Their bodies were already adapted to process it, because contaminated water had been a permanent feature of their environment for hundreds of thousands of years. The immune system wasn't working despite the contamination. It was shaped by it. Anthropologist Jeff Leach, who lived for a year among the Hadza of Tanzania, documented that Hadza adults drank directly from shared waterholes, animal watering sources, and standing water sources that would hospitalize most modern humans within hours. Almost none of them got sick. The body knew something. It had always known. Here is where the story becomes uncomfortable. Over the last 2 centuries, modern civilization did something extraordinary. It cleaned the water. Chlorination, filtration, sanitation infrastructure. It is one of the greatest public health achievements in human history, and it genuinely saved hundreds of millions of lives. But it also did something else. Something quieter. Something we are only beginning to understand. It removed the ancient relationship between the human immune system and the microbial world it had always lived inside. Epidemiologist David Strachan first proposed the hygiene hypothesis in 1989, suggesting that the dramatic rise in allergies, autoimmune conditions, and inflammatory diseases in industrialized nations was directly linked to reduced early life microbial exposure. Since then, the evidence has only deepened. Gastroenterologist Graham Rook expanded it into what he calls the old friends hypothesis, the idea that specific ancient microorganisms, the ones that lived in our water and soil and food for hundreds of thousands of years, are not threats to be eliminated. They are regulatory partners. Without them, the immune system loses its calibration. It begins attacking things it shouldn't. It becomes confused. We didn't just clean the water. We removed something the body expected to be there. Your ancestors drank from rivers. They drank fermented grain. They drank water warmed by fire. They drank whatever the land offered, and their bodies, shaped by millions of years of exposure, processed it. You have cleaner water than any human in history, and yet autoimmune conditions are rising. Gut disorders are rising. Inflammatory diseases are rising. rising. Allergies that didn't exist 2 generations ago are now commonplace. The water got cleaner. The immune system got more confused. Maybe the body doesn't just need hydration. Maybe it needs contact. Maybe what we call contamination, our ancestors called environment. They didn't survive despite what they drank. They survived because of it.